For similar reasons that I explained either before or after this, I've forgotten, we can't have you sing live for us, but your voice is so unique that I wanted to get it into the show. And could you tell us how and what we're about to hear?
Oh, well, maybe this voice is something else again, but this is going to be a single, my first single independently. I've had singles before with John, but it was always the B-side. And I think it's...
You were always the B-side?
Now she's Woman's Lib. She's got her own first single. I think it's a beautiful song, and it's called Mrs. Lennon. It'll be out now, yeah.
Oh. It's called Mrs. Lennon?
It's called Mrs. Lennon, yes.
All right.
It's a very nice song.
Let's give it a whirl, as they used to say.
From her new album, Fly, out now. Ding.
Mrs. Lennon, oh Mrs. Lennon, checking the sky to see if there's no cloud, there's no cloud. Oh, then I guess it must be all right. Mrs. Lennon, oh Mrs. Lennon, making the tea and watching the sea. There's no waves, oh then I guess it must be all right. Silver spoon, oh silver spoon, I lost my silver spoon. And our children, oh our children, did they have to go to war? Yes, my love, it's okay. Half the world is always killed, you know. Husband John extended his hand to his wife, and he finds, and suddenly he finds that he has no hands. They've lost their bodies. They've lost their bodies. Yes, they lost their bodies.
How do you know how to make film, John? Have you studied it at all?
Well, no, Yoko was quite adept in filmmaking, and she'd made quite a few films before I met her. I used to make 8mm films at home, you know, and superimpose and do tricks with it, and just play arbitrary records with it. But when I met Yoko, she said, well, why don't you do it seriously, you know? So she sort of helped me develop in that area, and I find it's very similar to recording, you know, just visual, and it's beautiful to work with.
You understand the camera and all how it works, and
Yes.
do you use an American camera or?
Getting so good now. I find it a bit, you know, he's too good for my liking these days almost. You know. And it's
Well,
really,
she taught me filmmaking. I taught her sort of rock and roll, you know, and so I'm getting worried with these singles coming out, and she's getting worried with my film, so it's pretty good.
What kind of camera do you use when you?
both.
Ariflex,
and
Ariflex, 16
Also,
mil.
you know,
normally,
we
yeah.
use
Film
about
fans like to know that.
three
We know
cameras
the picture best, you know.
at the same time.
Sorry.
Sorry?
We use about 3 cameras at the same time, you know, because not to get all the angles and cover it and everything.
I mean, we know what a good picture is, so if you know what a nice picture is, then that's the start, you know.
Say,
Is
it true, that rumor that they used to, when the 4 of you were together, that
Who?
some of the, you and the other,
Oh, yeah.
the other fellows, that those concerts, many times the din was so uproarious and all, nobody could hear anything anyway, that they actually played a tape and that you didn't really play? That was a rumor that went around.
We never didn't ever play. There were sometimes when your voice was so bad through losing your voice that you would be wouldn't be singing at all, but nobody would notice because there'd be so much noise going on. You could never hear what we were doing, you know. It just would become a sort of happening, like Shea Stadium was a happening. You couldn't hear any music at all. And that got boring, you know.
Yeah.
That's why we stopped, really. I reckon now if I went out, not as the Beatles, but just Yoko and I went out with the group, then people wouldn't be screaming, you know. And because our records are better now, I think, and more mature, and I think the audience will be more mature too. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want any of that jazz, you know.
You've said somewhere you said you'd like to be forgotten, but now you say you'd like to go out and perform again, so you can't really have
Well,
both.
I can still be forgotten when I'm dead. I don't really care what happens when I'm dead, if that's what you mean.
No, I thought you meant now. I thought you meant I'd just like it all to go away and all the publicity you've had.
No,
You'd
I
like
mean,
to...
well, you see, with people like me and yourself, you know, if you're in a certain mood and reporters sort of asking questions which are angled to get an answer that they need to sell their paper, and you're in a certain mood, you'll say certain things to them, and then people bring it back 5 years later, so, oh, you said this, did you? But you've forgotten all about it. You've changed your mood. It's a different day. It's a different year, you know, and you feel entirely different. So you're always held up to what you've said before, and I don't... Half the time you don't know what you're talking about when you're talking to reporters.
I have that same feeling. I always want to say, well, either I said it or I didn't say it, or I said it and didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And, or any of the above.
It's like, you know, if everybody's words were recorded as they were saying it, there's lots of things you say that either turn out to be silly, or you didn't mean it, or was the spur of the moment, or you meant it, or you had foresight, or didn't. And it varies, but when people bring it back, you've forgotten all about it. You know? I don't know what you're talking about.
Which are you doing now?
How do you mean?
I mean, what you're saying now you actually mean.
I don't know what he's talking about. What's he talking about? What do you mean?
Which am I doing? We'll be
Hello,
back
who's
after
there?
this. Stay where you are.
Monday's the greatest day of the week. Monday used to be a horrible drag for me, but not anymore. Why? Why? Because Monday night is NFL football night, that's why. What makes Monday night great are the guys who call the games. Take Frank Gifford, All-American at USC, All-Pro for the New York Giants. He's going to be the anchor man and call the games play-by-play. He's a terrific guy and a fun dresser. Then there's Dandy Don Meredith, All-American at SMU, star quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and the captain of the 4-H Club State Championship shrub judging team. Makes you think, don't it? And last but not least, the Hatchet Man, Howard Cosell, winner of journalism's treasured Golden Eagle Award. Far out, isn't he? I love it. It's bigger than life.
The man who lives here is interested in history, where civilization is going, the great things men have done in the past. But his interest is not just scholarly. When it comes to 20th century history, he's been in the middle of it. He was there with the leaders at historic moments of World War II. He was there in 1960 as a moderator of the Kennedy-Nixon debates. His profession, and his stature in that profession have kept him at the side of the great men of the world. In 30 years as a working newsman, he's won every major award in the field of broadcast journalism. The man who lives here knows a lot about what's going on in the world. And he knows how to share what he knows with you. He's Howard K. Smith, newsman, co-anchorman on the ABC Evening News.